Minneapolis, water is life. I greet you all this evening as my relatives because we are related through the water that exists in our body, the water we drink to sustain us, the water that feeds the earth that we stand on. I'm Lakota. I'm from Cheyenne River, but I've also recently learned I am from Standing Rock. And right now, as we sit here, a truly remarkable thing is happening in my homeland. Thousands of people are coming together from tribes across this country, tribes across the world, and our allies to fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline. This pipeline is putting the fresh water drinking at risk for millions of living things. Now in Lakota, our ancestors have told us through prophecy that a black snake, should it cross our lands, will result in the end of the world as we know it. I am committed in believing with all my soul that for us, this black snake is the Dakota Access Pipeline. Now, I hear from people, because I read the comments online, I know I shouldn't, but I can't help myself. There's an argument that this land, because it's a private interest and private land, that the tribe has no interest in it. Well, I don't have time to go over hundreds of years of law, precedent, sovereignty. Listen, instant message me, let's go for coffee. I love coffee. But the issue here is that is Lakota land. That is land that has ceremonial meaning to us, that has the bones of our ancestors and which we have been on for millennia. And the Fort Laramie Treaty actually says that that area is our land as well. Now, unfortunately, this tribe was not involved in the planning of this pipeline. In fact, they weren't even in the original documents mentioned at all. When they were finally given access to the pipeline and where it was going, they discovered it was going to cross significantly important areas. They went to court, they tried to stop it, and the very next day, the pipeline jumped ahead of where it was and started digging up in the very spots that the tribe had indicated were deeply meaningful spots. We saw mercenaries there. The police suddenly disappeared, and they used attack dogs, which they encouraged to attack the protesters' protectors who were there to pray and to challenge them on whether they had legal authority to be doing what they were doing. Now, this issue has many intersectionalities, right? It's environmental. It has a lot about violence. It's about corporate greed. But make no mistake, this is about the survival of a culture, a people who have been here since the beginning of time and who are fighting for their very existence. This pipeline was supposed to go north of Bismarck. It's a predominantly white neighborhood. It's a city I grew up in. When the people complained, they moved it right next to the tribe. You cannot tell me that that's not racially based and wasn't intentional. This issue is so important, and so much has happened since I did these slides that I'm going off my memory now. Because since this has happened, we have had the violent eviction of protesters and protectors who were trying to prevent this pipeline from crossing through land. These people were pulled out of sweat, they were pulled out of ceremony, and they were thrown on the ground and arrested. They were thrown in dog cages, had numbers written on them, and ceremonial items that have deep meaning and have spirits in them were stolen and taken from them. This has a local connection because the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department did send 30 officers in response to a request from North Dakota. Now, they were acting under the assumption and understanding that this was necessary, but when they were there, it caused a lot of problems. Some of those officers were particularly brutal. There was a beautiful demonstration at City Hall. There has been closings of Grand Central Station. There has been an outcry across this country saying enough is enough. And there are many things you can do. Go to my Twitter feed. You can see this. Instant message me. Let's have coffee. But I ask you this, what are you doing? That pipeline is at the water right now. They are building the platform where the drill is going to go under the water. This water feeds millions of living things. And if you can do nothing else, then I ask that you pray. Because the prophecy also tells us the only way we will stop this black snake is through the power of prayer and peace. And let me tell you this too. I'm willing to die to keep our water fresh and clean. What are you willing to do?